Welcome back. The Deputy Minister of Transport, Lisa Mangcu, says that the criminals are essentially holding our railway system under siege. You know how often cables, railway tracks, electrical cables are stolen or damaged by thieves. He was releasing the Railway Safety Regulator's State of Safety report. Well, the Deputy Minister, Lisa Mangcu, joins us now. Deputy Minister, good afternoon to you, sir. We live in a country where Transnet puts out a vandalism report literally every day. Now we have this report from the Safety Regulator. How would you describe what's happening on our railways?
Good afternoon, Stephen, to you and to your viewers. The state is not very, very encouraging, but we think we have made some good improvements. There are action, because we believe that this is not a real one man or one size fits all situation. So the situation is not good, but it is certainly not dire.
You say it's not dire. I mean, don't we see on a daily basis our railways being damaged?
We do. Now, we must now separate the criminality of people who go out of their way to damage infrastructure and the purpose of a rail safety regulator or rail safety report, because it begins to lift exactly those things. Now, if you were asking me from a crime point of view, maybe speaking for the police, which I certainly am not, I would maybe have a different view. But if you look from a Department of Transport of view, what is our role? What does this rail safety report seek to achieve? That is why the comment that I made earlier.
Okay. So then we know that there are huge problems with our railways. Do you believe we're making any progress in making them safer?
We are making progress. If you look at the safety report we released today, we are talking about three categories in particular of operators. One being the Gautrain. You can see that they have improved their numbers, kilometers they have traveled. Their network is more secure than the other ones. It is, of course, within, hopefully, the area that the FR, for instance, which is operating amongst communities, where there are settlements mushrooming everywhere, compared to PRASA, which is more in the metropolitan areas. And, of course, the long-term transport service, the old so-called Shosholoza main, not being very operational. Now, if you were to look at all of them, we can be able to categorize all of them in terms of how they have performed. In terms of safety itself, we see that there is a lot of people who are knocked down by trains in rural areas. There is a lot of concern around level crossings, and those have attributed animals, and these in the main are because of people who are developing settlements along railway networks. That then would affect the safety and security of the rail network. But it's something that is even beyond, in certain instances, not all, the actual operators, what they can do. So when we look at people who are killed by trains, we look at incidents at level crossings, lesser of the collisions between trains and so forth, we can say the numbers are not good, but we are able to isolate them and see where exactly they are, and we are addressing them. And that is what the safety report we released seeks to achieve, that we know where the problem is, isolate it, and it needs to be addressed. In many instances, by municipalities, provincial roads, or even national roads, as they would not necessarily be the purview of an operator.
Are there other things we need to do to try and make our railways safer? I mean, we know that actually, in terms of moving people around our country, we need to use the railways a lot more, not less. And in fact, many of the problems we see on the roads are because we just have too many trucks on the roads. It's a slightly different story. But we need to use the railways a lot more for freight and for people. People aren't going to do that unless they know that the system is safe and reliable. Do you think it'll ever get to that stage where the system is safe and reliable?
It has to get there, Stevie. We don't have any option to fail in this instance. For instance, the issue of pre-COVID numbers and situation is a situation that how train, for instance, is in the trajectory of going that direction. Now, what happened during COVID lockdown, it did happen, is now retarding the progress in terms of not achieving what we should be achieving within the time that we should be. Now, there is quite a slow recovery that is happening in that area. But where there is recovery, we are seeing the numbers of people coming back to the trains being much more. Are all the people coming, are the numbers satisfactory? Certainly not. When it relates to freight, I think it is common cause that there have been challenges within the TFR space, which I believe TFR is working hard on in terms of there is also a coordinating logistic committee established by the president so that there is a multidisciplinary approach by departments. But what needs to happen is that we need more law enforcement. We need to have more communities taking responsibility for infrastructure that belongs to government. And yes, the fiscal runway is running short, so it might not happen at the time that we want to, but there are certainly signs of good direction in going back where we want to go to.
All of this means that the agencies need to work. For example, let's just look at PRASA, the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa. We know during the state capture era, there was huge corruption there, the trains that were too tall. There was the amazing decision to withdraw security guards from the railways just as the pandemic was starting. Is that still a problem? Do we actually have the right people in the right places at agencies like PRASA to sort all of this out?
Yes, we do have the right people, I will say, because we have a permanent CEO now as a group CEO, which is somebody who is seasoned, who is in the space of railway, has been in the system for quite a long time. We have a board that I believe is doing quite a good job. We are seeing the rolling out of new sets of trains from the Gibela factory outside the Kuruleni there, and the trains are coming back. We are seeing a revamping of stations, but stations are not being revamped where the train is not going to run to circumvent exactly what you have said. It doesn't help to revamp a station and there is no train running. It renders itself susceptible to crime. PRASA is also employing security, and I'm aware that they are in a process of also increasing their capacity where necessary by looking for extra support from the private sector. So yes, we have the right people. Yes, we have the right strategies to address the issues, but there are limitations, and these limitations are causing the slow progress to happen. But we are getting there slowly, as they said, but surely.
Lisa Mangcu, thank you very much indeed for your time. Deputy Minister of Transport.